What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave. Oh my God, what a day! If you're here, you know that this is once again time for Creators Corner, the show where I do interviews with all kinds of remarkable people. And if it sounds like I'm a little bit worn down because I've said this before, it's because I have. But I'm gonna apologize to somebody, and then I'm gonna apologize to somebody else, and then we'll get to the interview. First, I want to apologize to Alex Carter because this was supposed to be his interview. We did one earlier in the week. I had some data loss, and I lost the interview. So I apologize for that. Mr. Carter, we will get you on soon, I promise. And we got some really good interviews lined up as well. To get through today, to make sure we had a Creators Corner, the awesome, amazing dude that is Tim King, who's being infinitely fucking patient with me now, especially, decided to come on the show and kind of save the show. How do I say thank you for that? I do about a half hour with him and don't fucking record. I just did about a half hour with this man and recorded none of it. Absolutely didn't even turn on the record button. This is by far the worst thing I've ever done in recording. I've done a lot of stupid things. This is by far the worst. I just did not press the record button. Unfriggin' believable. But
is it on now?
It is on. We're good. We're recording. Everything's good. There is a bright side of things because now we know where to take the conversation and we can kind of tighten things up a little bit. So, you know, it's not so bad. It's not such a bad thing. But I do apologize for that. Thank you for being cool about it. And thanks for staying on the channel here.
Oh, no problem. I mean, that's all right. I've had my fair share of mess ups like that, I assure you.
It happens.
So a lot of times when I do my reviews and stuff, I'll botch a lot, and I'll just sit there at my recorder like, so I have to redo everything.
It happens. It happens. But as you just heard, Tim King does reviews, but he does a lot of other things other than that. He has a channel, WWE PayNE77. See, I'm kind of glad that we had the mess up because now I know the information a little bit better. WWE PayNE77 is his channel, and he does reviews and wrestling talk just like I do here, but he does it in a different way. He does it in a really cool way, and I'll let him talk about that in a moment. But first, I kind of want to start at the beginning because I understand this is not your first channel or even brush with fame on YouTube. You had a gaming website a while back. So let's go ahead and start there. Let's talk about that.
Yes. I had a gaming channel long before WWE PayNE77 came about. And it was called Strife Jr. And for anybody who's a Final Fantasy fan or anybody who played Final Fantasy VII before, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I know I do. 125 hours I put into that friggin' game. Ugh.
Did you beat the weapons?
Yeah, I did everything I could. I was 15, 16.
But yeah, and so basically what started the whole thing was I took gameplay footage of the city of Final Fantasy, and I made them into stories. I basically edited them and put them into a separate entity of itself, and I made it a story. Now, I didn't have the capabilities to do voiceovers on it, unfortunately, which would have been really good, because I had a lot of plans for that.
What kind of stories did you tell?
They were my own outlook on. It was like a fanfic based upon a certain character named Garland, who was the very, very first enemy of that franchise, and I turned him into a good guy.
Oh, okay.
I made it to where
you turned him into a face. How very wrestling of you.
I made it to where all of the dark guys, evil guys, I made them basically turn on Garland, and they wanted to use him for his Chaos gene, which, if anybody knows who Chaos is, that's basically, spoiler alert, that's basically Garland, but in a more advanced form. So they were gunning for his gene, and they all wanted it to create this awesome power to destroy the Warriors of Light. But unfortunately for them, Garland had a change of heart, and he joined the Warriors of Light, and it was an epic story. I wish a lot of people could still watch it today, but unfortunately,
yeah, what happened?
I deleted the channel.
Why did you delete the channel? Because I understand what a channel losing popularity or a channel losing subs or whatever, or subs going dead. But why delete it?
I had a lot of just family outside related issues, and I couldn't keep up with the channel anymore, and that's just how that went down, and I regret it to this day. Because I wish I would have saved all the videos. For one, every time I created a video, I would delete it, and so that way I'd have more room on my computer for other videos. But I was stupid. I should have saved all of them, so that way when I did destroy it all,
you could resurrect it at your own.
Redid it. I could post all of those videos again, but I didn't, and that's what I regret the most. But you know, good came out of it, because here we are, and I have WWE PayNE77. So
that's right. What lessons did you learn from your time doing that channel that kind of carried over to making WWE PayNE77?
Oh, well, I learned what people like to see when I was doing that channel. They seemed to be interested in the way I created things. They seemed to be interested in the vision that I gave the characters in my stories. It was something different that they'd never really seen before, and they were quite intrigued by it, because these were sides of characters that you would definitely not ever see in your whole life. You know, being a gamer and knowing the series. I mean, it's a side of characters that you wouldn't even imagine to see.
So it just kind of helped your refining of storytelling.
Yeah, I've always been big on story writing. I've written stories when I was in middle school, and everybody in my English class loved it. That was their favorite time of the day, for them to sit down in class and let me read parts of my story and my journal entries that we wrote every day. Because that's what I do. That's what I do. Every time our teacher would give us a subject to write about, I'd hurry up and get that finished, and then I'd flip over in my journal and I'd continue writing in my story.
Well, I can relate there. I wrote a book a few years back. I can completely. It didn't sell, but I mean, it sold a few copies. But I mean, I do have a book out there, so I can relate to you completely on that. I love writing.
Yeah, and
is that how it started? The whole creative process? It just started with writing when you were a kid.
Right, and basically, this is going to be hilarious, and this is something that nobody knows about me.
Ooh, fascinating.
Well, a lot of people know, like family members know, but not a lot of outside people.
YouTube community does not know, so go ahead.
So I used to act a lot by myself when I was younger. I'd use characters from video games. I'd use characters from movies. You know, one of my big things, I'd act out the Final Fantasy series. I'd act out Spider-Man, for instance, who is my favorite superhero. You know,
Can I ask you why? Because that's an interesting thing, because I'm a comic book nerd myself. Why Peter Parker?
There's just so many reasons. Well, for one, his story is unlike any other in the Marvel comics. Sure, there's similarities with all of them. Most of all the superheroes go through some kind of tragedy. But Peter Parker, in a way, he relates to me. Like, I can connect to him more than I can any other Marvel character. His life and the way he was picked on throughout his high school career, and the way he struggled with day-to-day life as far as you know, homework goes, and you know, getting that girl, for instance. You know, I connected to that a lot. And then when he becomes the hero, when he becomes Spider-Man, and he puts all of his problems aside to deal with the issues in the world. that's what that's what really that's why I like him so much. He's an inspiration to me. I see myself through him.
Yeah, I kind of get that because Peter Parker, Spider-Man, the entire mythos, what separates that apart for me, at least, is it's all about struggle in a different way
Yeah.
than it is from. It's not a good guy versus bad guy struggle. Peter Parker is always struggling within himself,
Yeah.
and that's what I've always liked about Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It's always been an interesting story. So I sorry to sidetrack the conversation. I
Oh,
heard
that's
comic
fine.
book and I had a nerdgasm and had to talk about it.
So
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 back to
yeah.
the creativity portion with your writing and everything, and your acting, and how did that evolve?
So it started to evolve. See, I didn't realize at the time that I already knew my talent. From being a little kid, that never dawned on me that that was my talent. Uh, I'd always get make fun of by my family because they'd always watch me out there twirling around and talking to myself,
Uh-huh.
and they would say, "Oh, you're out there doing that ballet again, huh?" So,
Hmm.
and I'd always get red faced and well, sometimes angry because they didn't really understand what I was doing. So, uh, but that evolved later on when I got into middle school, about like seventh grade or so.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I wasn't much of a singer. I didn't care for singing a lot when I was younger. But then all of a sudden, seventh grade, I got this feeling in my gut that said, "Hey, how about we try going into singing and seeing how that works?" And I had a very successful singing career, in school,
Ah.
and that branched on into acting,
Mm-hmm.
where I went on to do two performances in my school, uh, and I went up. That's where my creativity shot up big time.
Well, that's cool. So all of that
So
led you to eventually uh, making your YouTube channel with the video game stuff, and then getting to
right,
the point that you are now, which is WWE PayNE77. To,
right.
to draw a line to that, and how did that come about? Where did WWE PayNE77 come from? Why wrestling?
Well, here's the thing. Actually, this was kind of all of a sudden thing because and I think somebody's going to be very happy when I bring this up, but I started WWE Pain 77 and the whole wrestling thing after watching Joe Cronin for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's see. It's always nice to hear things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was my see. I started watching Joe Cronin around WrestleMania 30
Mhm.
when the Undertaker lost. Because it was a big deal for me. Because Undertaker, that was my favorite guy, and he forever will be. So that was a big deal for me, and I wanted to see how everybody else was taking it because I knew it was a big thing.
Yeah.
So and I stumbled on Joe Cronin's his show, and I started listening to it, and I just couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't stop listening to it. That's how easily he was able to bring me into the show.
Yeah, he's got an
And
infectious personality. I mean,
yeah,
I've watched Joe Cronin open packs of Pokemon cards because I love listening to the guy talk. And I work with the guy, and I'm still
right,
get enamored with the way he talks and the
right.
way he can captivate an audience. And I've said this to him before. When he realizes just how good he is, he's going to do anything he wants. Because I don't think he
Oh,
knows. I don't think he knows how good he is.
yeah, he is really good, and I hope he does realize that sooner or later because then we'll probably get even better Joe Cronin than we had.
And the
So
world shall tremble, no question.
yeah. So and I've just enjoyed the show ever since. And then when Chris Tosevich died,
Yeah, he died tragically.
so
At such a
and then
young age.
I actually didn't notice. That's how involved I was with the show. I did not notice he was gone until it was mentioned by Joe himself. I'm like, you know what? That's right. He's not around. What is up with that?
Yeah.
So then that's when you came in, and I was like, oh well, this guy's pretty cool too.
Thank
So
you.
and So basically, he was my inspiration for starting this, and I really appreciate it because Joe, whether or not he believes it or not, he's really helped me a lot with personal issues that I have within myself by watching his videos.
Oh, wow.
He gives me this sense that you know uh, anything's possible, and that I can do. I can be successful, and he really gives me a confidence boost.
That's really cool.
So that that's a big reason why I'm so loyal to the Joe Cronin Show and to you as well.
I appreciate that.
So uh,
When you made the channel, what did you want to bring to the channel? What did you obviously you didn't want to be like a carbon copy of me or Joe Cronin. What did you want to do, and what do you think that you've brought that kind of made the channel distinctively Tim Kaine?
Well, what I wanted to bring my own views into it. I wanted to share my thoughts and my feelings towards certain characters and superstars within the company, and you know, also really what I wanted to try to do is I wanted to be the um, basically I wanted to be someone that brought this community together. I wanted to be somebody to help out with entertaining everybody. Like, you two are part of the Joe Cronin Show, obviously, and so I wanted to basically be a part of the show, but not really be a part of it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, everyone
So,
wants to belong. Everyone wants to feel connected,
right.
and that's what I
And
try to
so
do with my channel. I try to connect as much as I can with the fan base.
And so, in this way, I am able to possibly bring in more viewers to the Joe Cronin Show, but also for me,
Yeah.
and it's just I feel having different insights from different people in this community really will make things interesting for us, and I hope with the addition of myself. Being in that small little outlet between everyone else, that I can really bring some interesting content because I really have been trying to figure out different segments here.
Yeah.
Like for instance, with my reviews, I've been wanting to do something quick. Maybe I'll probably make it a different segment where I take the best and the worst of each show, and that basically have a short little segment there like that.
I think that's
And
a good way to go. I mean, it's kind of how I started with this whole thing to begin with. When I decided to focus on wrestling, I
right,
went to a strength. I take a lot of notes. I think it's very important to do when you're doing this type of work is
oh
take a
yeah,
lot of notes. So I
oh
kind
yeah,
of turned that into a thing, the copious amounts of notes. It became my thing, and that's kind of what it is. It's the best and worst of the show kind of jumbled together. I think that's
yeah,
a really good idea. It's a good segment, and if you have the right name, you never know. Maybe it'll end up on a T-shirt. I couldn't friggin' believe that. Copious. It's incredible. It's incredible.
yeah, yeah. I like the fact that you guys do shirts. But I don't really want to get up at the moment, but I have my Joe Cronin shirt
Oh,
here,
that's awesome.
and I was very proud to have that. I've worn it quite a bit, so um, and I I have a passion for wrestling. I honestly I want to be a wrestler myself.
You want to be a wrestler?
Yes.
Have you done anything to go down that path?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, I've established like groundwork for myself, like as far as like what I'll be called, uh, which sometimes is not necessarily what you're going to be called anyway.
True.
Depending on what company you're for. Uh, and then, I've kind of tried to establish my own wrestling moves here and there. Um, and WWE 2K15, the video game, that helps out with that process quite a bit.
Well,
Because
there's a
you
physical aspect though. If have you put anything into the physical aspect? like being in really good shape and stuff like that.
You
Cause
see, that's what I need to work on. I haven't, there's no gyms around here, so that kind of like really puts a damper on that.
yeah, a little bit.
So, when I was in high school, I took a strength class, and that was the reasoning behind it was to get myself in shape. I was actually better shape than I am right now. I kind of let myself go. Uh,
We all
but
do, buddy. Don't worry. We all
I,
do.
I've see the thing is I've had uh, hold on, what was I gonna? Ah, crap! I lost what I was gonna say. I'm sorry.
No worries at all. You were saying that there's no wrestling gyms there in Ohio, or at least where you're around. There's a
Well,
few pretty famous, relatively famous wrestlers
I mean,
that are in the WWE right now. You would think that there's some wrestling gyms got to be in Ohio, right?
well, yeah, no, there is. I'm saying like personal gyms where I could go to and work out on a daily basis.
Screw it. You
Uh,
don't need a gym. The world's a gym. Go running, do push-ups outside, sit-ups, side start
yeah,
hops. Oh my God, I went
that's
military there for a second. My army days came back to me. Do jumping jacks. Yeah, the world's a gym. I hate that. Join our gym for $20 a month. No, I'll go run outside. Go
yeah,
run outside.
that's a good point.
The world's a gym, my friend. The
Yeah,
world's a gym.
I've actually thought about buying my own weights and stuff to just do it at my home. But there are a lot of wrestling schools around here, which I do want to get myself involved in. Honestly, I don't know if it's possible, but I really want to try to get a hold of Dean Ambrose. Like, that's like extremely hard to do,
Yeah.
but he's from Ohio. I figured these wrestling schools out here, somebody has to know his contact info.
Sure.
So it'd be really cool to be trained by him.
Very few
Um,
active wrestlers have schools, but I mean, when they get older, sometimes they do. If
right.
you had a chance to talk to Dean Ambrose, what would you say?
Well, first of all, I would thank him for being an inspiration to me. Because he's from Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm only like 21 miles from Cincinnati. So to know that, and also here's a fun fact: he would have been my uncle if it weren't for the fact that he, separated from my aunt.
He was dating your aunt?
John Moxley dated my aunt.
No shit.
And this happened a while back, and they were going to get married, and I think, and it really kind of
How
it
old are
blew my
you?
mind. It blew my mind when I'm 18.
You're 18.
So,
Okay, I thought you were in your 20s.
no, so and that really blew my mind when my mother told me that. I'm like, John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, was dating my aunt. Like, really? So, you know, I really wish he would have stayed within my family because, that would have opened a larger door for me. I don't want to take the cheap way out by any means, but,
Yeah.
I would like to have a step in the door.
Sure,
Because-
everyone wants to get their foot in the door. That's one of the more unique ways that I've heard happen. That's incredible that Dean Ambrose was diddling your aunt. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to know, and it's a shame that he's not around anymore. Which I'm kind of wondering if he knows her still. Because if he knows her still, then perhaps maybe there's a way I could at least talk to him. So
Well, I would talk to her. I mean,
Right.
You just talk to her and then see what she knows.
they probably don't talk to each other anymore.
Say,
It's
look,
probably-
aunt, I need some information. I don't know if you've ever done anything good for me, but you need to come on and do some good stuff now, damn it. Use big
Yeah.
language, too. Don't be afraid to smack somebody. Don't smack her because that's wrong, but find somebody close and smack them. Get your point across. Say, damn it, I need to talk to Dean.
And this is an interesting fact about my channel. The part where Pain is, the WWE PayNE77, that's what I want my wrestling name to be. So that's where that comes from. and the WWE part, obviously,
WWE.
that's because I like uh, WWE wrestling, and that's where I want to be. Although I've already said this before, if I can't make it to the big leagues like that, I don't mind as long as I can achieve my dream of becoming a wrestler and working for these other organizations. That's my main goal.
Sure.
So, and there's many popular wrestlers out there who are in who are in the indies and everything. So, that's that's where I want to go. I mean, if not WWE, at least be in something that's kind of popular. I mean, I don't even care if it's a small industry, just something. Just I
Well, you
want to
got to
be
start somewhere. It's a very
yeah,
difficult path.
right.
If you haven't been doing it most of your life by now, and being in a physical manner, especially unless you're just some freak athlete, which some people are. I went to wrestling school for 2 weeks myself. Before I joined the army. I know 2 weeks not a big deal, but let me tell you, that 2 weeks was it was harder than basic training. For the United States military, that my 2 weeks in wrestling school was more physically demanding than 9 weeks of basic training. So
Yeah, they really
you
do
can't
push
take it
you.
lightly.
Yeah, so it's gonna take me a while. I probably won't really get into the actual business until like way later, but because it's not an easy process, and
No.
but I'm willing to do it. It's my dream, and that's I'm gonna try to work for it.
So do you have a plan in place to try to get there? I mean, what's your plan?
Well, for one, I want to try to get in shape before I even attempt to get there. To the school anyway. I want to try to get myself in good shape so that way, it won't totally kill me when I go through the process.
Yeah.
Um, but I plan on going to wrestling school. I don't know where exactly. Somewhere that's well known. I kind of want to try to go to a wrestling school where a lot of superstars have been cranked out of. And
Yeah.
I'm
The only
so
problem with that is a lot of them that are like that. I mean, you got to bring. I would start at a smaller school personally.
yeah,
That's where I would start somewhere because you got to learn the basics, and you need to have somebody
yeah,
that can teach you all of the things that they're not going to have the time to teach you at the bigger places. I mean, hell,
right.
honestly, if you're dead set serious, right now the place to go is Florida. I mean, the wrestling schools are popping up all over the place in Florida. That's where developmental is for the WWE. I mean,
Oh,
honestly, that might be something to consider if you're really like super serious about doing it. Florida is a really good place to go right now.
yeah, I mean, and this has been a tough decision for me because I've also been thinking about going to, regular college and getting a degree
Probably the
in,
safer route.
in environmental science. So, yeah, I've been thinking a lot on that, and I'm thinking, well, do I want to just go full steam ahead this way, or do I want to do this first and then do that? So,
It's always hard when you have to have the battle in your head between logic and passion.
yeah,
Because the reality is a very small percentage of people who start wrestling ever make it to the big
right,
leagues, to where they're making money and being well off. And you have to remember all the physical toll that you're going to put on your body. So
oh yeah,
but it doesn't matter. You're passionate. It's what you want to do.
right, right,
And then you have the other part of your brain's like, well, I'm not an idiot. I could go to college and get a degree and get a job, pump out some babies, the American dream, blah, blah, blah. But what is life without passion? It's always going to nag at
right.
you. So, I mean, I think it's something you have to definitely find out and take a chance. And I wish you luck when you decide to do that. It's not an easy task, but you seem like a passionate dude, so.
And speaking of wrestling, I don't know if you have watched it yet, and I think you know what I'm about to bring up. Um, I posted a pay-per-view on my channel recently, and that pay-per-view is of my own wrestling company. Company. Uh, it's a very small group. It's called HCW, and no, it's not Hardcore Championship Wrestling.
What does it stand for?
It stands for Hamersville Championship Wrestling, and Hamersville is a small town here in Brown County. It's basically where me and my friend Chris, who is the COO of the company, uh, he's that's where we grew up, and this was started years ago. The pay-per-view says it's a third anniversary show, and that's true based on the people that we've had in the group and how long we've been able to actually do this. So, but it's actually started a long time ago between me and my friend Chris, and we were big wrestling WWE fans, and we'd get on the bus every day, start talking about wrestling. Uh, and we always had a dream. Our dream was to create our own industry, like our own little off-brand. And and funny enough, we started writing out plans for it, like what we would call it, how much we would charge for tickets, and getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, a little bit.
And and we actually pushed it to the point where we actually asked our school principal if we could start a program at the school. And well, needless to say, they actually had a board meeting over it, and obviously it got shut down for many reasons.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Insurance was the big
Probably
topic
the biggest one. Yeah.
that they shut it down for. But me and my friend, we were kind of like, yeah, it's all right. We kind of knew that wasn't going to happen anyway. But it was worth a shot.
Sure.
So then we just kind of had it by ourselves. I mean, doing a two-man wrestling show is tough.
Yeah, a
but,
little bit. Yeah, right. So this is not this is not a video game. This is actual real life.
No. This is an actual thing. This is me and my buddy Chris.
The backyard wrestling type deal?
Kind of. This is a real organization. I can't say it's official by any means because it's not. But we did this out of fun, out of our passion for doing wrestling. And, it was always funny because they always have that, please do not try this at home. And me and my friend would be like, too late.
Fuck you, I'm doing it anyway.
So we've had it for years. And it's just now gotten to the point where we have a larger roster, and it's actually been pretty fun. We posted that pay-per-view as a way to get it out there, as a way to show people that what I do on the side when I'm not doing my YouTube and stuff.
The link to that should be in the bottom by now, by the way. I'll make sure you send me that link, and I'll put it in the bottom description so people can find it.
You see, I was talking to the Wrestling Ghost, one of the community members here, and I was telling him about it, and he was worried that it was going to be kind of like a WWE copy, where we act like we're different superstars, and no, that is not the case. We actually go our own route. We have our own names. Well, at least I do. Obviously, mine's going to be PayNE. We have our own names. Some of the people use the real names just because they haven't really came up with anything yet, and that's still in process. We hold conference calls a lot between each other, basically to plan what we're going to do at the next show. We work as if we have fans.
Yeah.
But we don't. When you go to watch that video, you see we obviously don't have fans. There's nobody around except for us.
So is this something that you're planning on bringing to YouTube as like a show on YouTube, a channel?
Yes. If people actually start enjoying this, I will consider making this.
Do you have a ring? I mean, I haven't watched the video, to be honest. Do you have a wrestling ring?
See, that's where the problem lies.
Oh, crap. Here we
go. Since we're so small, we don't have a ring.
What are you wrestling on?
It's basically just a mattress. But that doesn't stop.
Make it happen, I guess.
That doesn't stop us. We still pull off some what you would call some dangerous moves, and if you watch it, you'll see what I mean. Because I get destroyed.
I admire the passion. I admire the passion.
Not for any spoilers, but I get destroyed in one of the matches that we have, and I took a beating. Let's just say that.
I am gonna pause just for a moment and just real quick so I can say that we here at Dead on Dave Productions do not encourage anybody out there to be taking any of these things and doing them to yourselves. It is not a smart idea. Tim King does it because he's a passionate guy and he's 18, and you feel invincible at 18. There's nothing wrong with that. But we do not. Don't do this shit. Is what I'm trying to say.
If you know you can't do it, and there's a lot that goes into it too. So we really are careful with each other. We try our best not to hurt each other, and so far it's worked out quite nicely.
That should be the tagline of your federation, HCW. We try our best not to hurt each other. You should pay me for that. It's a great tagline. It's a great tagline.
Oh.
So what's the end game for HCW, man? Where do you see this going? Where's the build? Is it going anywhere, or is this just a thing you're doing and then kind of just a stepping stone? What's the goal?
Mainly, it's kind of a way to put myself out there and other people that are passionate about wrestling. Because there's one other guy that is very, very, very passionate about wrestling. And he's in my WWE overview video that we did in January. His name is Cody Hansen. And he is very passionate about wrestling. And we've actually been discussing about going into a wrestling school together.
Oh, that's cool.
And maybe possibly forming a tag team if we actually do get into the business.
Very cool. Very cool.
He's very passionate about it. We want this to be a way to get HCW out there, and also ourselves out there as performers. We're not. We are by no means professionals. That's obvious.
Yeah.
You're
wrestling on mattresses, dude.
When you watch this show, well, the funny thing is that you're probably gonna laugh at is we pretend that there's ropes.
Okay. Oh my God! This is taking a turn here, Tim. This is taking a rather sharp turn.
but that's the thing, though. I never really let that bother me. Because
no, why not? Why?
I think it adds to the humor in the show.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I want is to bring humor, and also have like something that's interesting. Something that you wouldn't normally see.
Sure.
People doing. I mean. Joe Cronin, he's done his own wrestling stuff.
He has.
He's got his video, and he's a lot more extreme. I could say they were.
Well, he went to wrestling school too. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, and they are a lot more extreme than we are.
That was an 18-year-old, 20-year-old Joe Cronin, kind of like yourself.
We haven't gone to the extreme yet. We plan on actually purchasing steel chairs. And,
holy Christ!
But see the way that we're.
I'm definitely gonna watch this now. There's no question. I will be watching this just for entertainment factor. I don't give a fuck about anything else. This is something I gotta see.
That's my goal right there. It's not necessarily.
You got one guy, definitely.
This isn't really the fact that I want this to be. I don't really see this ever getting huge. That's just reality. I don't really see this ever getting huge. I would like it to. I would like it to get big.
Yeah.
Because it would be awesome to own my own wrestling faction, or company, whatever you want to call it. And for now, it's mainly entertainment purposes for not only myself but the people on the roster and maybe possibly even the YouTube community. Now that I've posted it, that was actually supposed to be a test run for further events. That footage is actually was just done. That was actually a last minute decision that we made. We're like, hey, how about we actually film this? so we actually could take a look at it and see how bad or good certain things were. I think the wrestling portion of the whole entire show that we did was better than most of the talking, and
Yeah.
because there were quite a lot of botches, and
It happens. It
and
happens.
and although there were backstage segments that were pretty good, the way it's set up awesome because basically there's a part uh, in the area that I wrestle at that's kind of like a locker room in itself, and I really like that because it'll bring legitimacy, sort of, to the show.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but it's I really enjoy doing it.
Well, that's all
It's
that really matters, you know.
yeah.
Is you have a passion for it and you get enjoyment out of it, regardless of what happens after that. It doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and let's shift focus back to your YouTube channel, and then we'll wrap it up on this. Where do you see the future for WWE PayNE77, and more importantly, where do you want it to go? What's the goal for that, and what content can we be expecting to see out of you in the future?
I would like to definitely expand myself not only to my channel but to other channels as well. To be able to bring more content, for everybody. I want to be involved with these other YouTubers that don't necessarily get the chance to involve themselves with these channels all the time. Like Joe Cronin, for instance, a lot of people get upset because they can't call in all the time, and they can't, which is something that's kind of ridiculous in a way.
For
But
them to get upset, yes, it is.
yeah, and
It's
I
insane
understand.
to get upset about that.
I understand how they feel, though. I mean, I do agree that a lot of other people haven't been able to get on there like they should be able to, but you got to make room for the originals too, because I think mostly if it can be done right, newer callers probably be like towards the beginning, like, and then all the originals. That's when they start calling towards the
Well,
end.
I don't.
But I
The
don't.
thing with
I
that
don't know.
is,
It's something to think about.
yeah, it's something to think about. But I don't know. Like, we get too many people that call in
Right.
and have nothing to
Got
say
off
or
the
just
soul.
troll us anyway. So look, I mean, it kind of bugs me when people get all high and mighty about why aren't I on the show? Well, because we don't have to put you on a damn show.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I do this with people because I enjoy doing it. But whenever it feels like an
Right.
obligation, when someone tries to put me in a corner,
Right.
I become a different person. And most people would not like that guy. But I understand what you're saying. But yeah, it is what it is.
And that's where I want to come in. I want to be able to be like, oh, okay.
You want to take the crazies? You take the
well,
crazies.
not exactly take the crazies, but just take the ones that haven't been able to get on, and basically uh, allow them to be on some sort of a show that's affiliated, you know. Uh, so that way they get their name out there, and that they'd be known to the community.
Yeah.
I just want to. Mainly my goal here is to expand the community, to share our content, to bring more people into this, because I see this community being huge. I mean, it's already big enough, like
Yeah, it's pretty big.
as it is. So, but I want it to be bigger, and
We greatly appreciate that. We appreciate
and
your passion.
And I see for my channel personally, with the amount of subscribers that I've gotten in less than a week, uh, I see my channel becoming very successful. Maybe not like all at once, but because I'm very behind on subscribers, which subscribers to me is not that big of a deal. But having such small subscribers, any subscriber that I get is
Hold on
fantastic.
1 second, buddy. Hold on 1 second. Well, I'd like to apologize for that intrusion, that interruption. That's my good buddy, Mr. Stewart, the Wolfman, as I like to call him. He decided that I didn't answer him on Skype, so he's going to make a friggin' phone call. Well, now you get embarrassed, because the only way that you'll learn was with public embarrassment. Anyways, So back to what you were saying. Look, I do appreciate the passion. I appreciate what you're trying to do. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, that's just, and as like I said, as far as my channel goes, hopefully with the fact I could probably bet that after this show is over, I may get a few more subscribers thanks to you, and I just want to go ahead and thank you for that.
That's no problem at all.
So, I'm, this is, I love talking to people about wrestling. I love, sharing my opinions, and I get on Twitter a lot. I try to have conversations with people. So I'm a very social person online, anyways. So, but in reality, I don't really associate with that many people, and it's not because I don't want to. It's just there's not really a lot of people that know exactly what I do, and I don't really have that many friends as far as like there's only like a few good friends that I have. There's only like 3 or 4 maybe.
Well, that's the beauty of doing this. That's the beauty of creating. It's an outlet for all of that stuff.
Right. And that's what I want. I want to be known across the whole community. I don't want to be just. I mean, if I stay like I am, I'll still be grateful. I mean, I still have the opportunities to get on the show like yours and Joe Cronin. So, I'm not exactly. Honestly, I'm not exactly looking to get famous or anything.
Well, you're in the right place for that. Not getting famous is what we do best. But look, we really appreciate the support, and I think it's great that you're creating. And I highly recommend everybody going and checking out, at least giving them a chance over at WWE PayNE77. Lots of great things coming out of Tim King. So, look, I really want to thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, no problem.
Great guest. I appreciate it. A lot of fun. Sorry we had some technical issues that kind of cut some of the time from the ability to continue to record. But, I messed up. I'm a fat idiot, and I tell everybody straight up that I'm a fat idiot. And everybody knows that I am a fat idiot. So I appreciate your patience, and awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, and thank you for this opportunity. And guys, please check out my channel, WWE PayNE77, and please check out my wrestling pay-per-view. And I hope you guys enjoy that. Whether it's ridiculous or not, it's just something. And if all of you guys like that, well, I'll make sure to start filming some more of our events in the future, and hopefully I'll make that its own segment on its own. So,
awesome. So both of those things will be linked in the description box below. Make sure you check that stuff out. And as always, like, subscribe, and share, because these channels don't go on without your support, children. So Tim, thank you very much for joining me, man. You're awesome, and we will see you next time right here next week, not this week, on Creators Corner. See you guys next time. Peace.